Politicians in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania believe that hiding evictions from landlords will actually make it easier for these tenants to find housing. However, this will hurt landlords and actually make it harder for good tenants to find housing. I'm Tony, and this is Real Estate Investing and Landlord News. All right, so I have an interesting article for you today, and it's coming out of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Now, I haven't talked about Pittsburgh in a while, but some of the stuff they were proposing there, I just don't agree with, okay? And one of those things is this whole proposal where they're trying to hide evictions from landlords. Now, I've seen this passed in other places before, and I am highly opposed to it because I believe that tenant screening is the best tool that we as landlords, as business owners have in order to ensure that our properties are well taken care of, that we're going to actually be paid the rent that we're owed, and to make sure that our businesses are viable. So you take that tool away from us, and we're just, we might as well just be throwing our money into the garbage can, okay? This is absolutely ridiculous, and I hate it. Imagine, and this is an analogy that I've used before, right? Imagine a bank giving a loan out to somebody, but not being able to run their credit, not being able to check their employment history, make sure the person can actually pay the loan back. Because when we are renting out our properties, we are essentially loaning someone our property and, with their promise of paying us back. And without the proper tools to make sure that these people are credit worthy, to make sure that they will pay us back, well, we are going to be taken advantage of. It's pretty simple. So in my mind, renting a property out is the same as a bank or other lender lending money out to a person. And we need the exact same tools they have. We do. Okay. And if they take those tools away from us, the only thing it's going to do is we're going to have to tighten our tenant screening in other areas, and that will make it much harder for good tenants who pay their rent on time, who have not faced eviction, to get housing. Okay, this hurts tenants. This does not help tenants at all. And unfortunately, the people who are putting these laws, or proposing these laws, they're short-sighted. They don't see the long-term effects of the things they're trying to pass. So before I get into the article, go ahead, hit the like, subscribe button, maybe leave a comment down below and let me know what you think. So do you believe that hiding the eviction history of tenants will actually help people find housing? Okay, that is something that a lot of these far left-leaning anti-landlord groups, they believe that, oh, well, if landlords can't see that this person has an eviction, well, yeah, everyone will be happy living in La La Land, with a brand new house, and everything will be perfect after that. As I've mentioned before, just because an eviction did not go all the way through the process does not mean that that tenant is a good tenant. Okay, there are so many reasons. I personally have dealt with my tenants where I stopped the eviction process because the person agreed to leave. That tenant was garbage, absolute garbage. Never paid me the money that they owed me. Just always was paying late. They were a horrible tenant, and they didn't go all the way through the eviction process. So now that's going to be hidden from other landlords' view? No, that's awful. So yeah, that's not going to be a workable solution for the number of landlords in that area. So anyway, let's get into this article. This article is coming from publicsource.org, and it says, disappearing evictions, bill would take most landlord-tenant complaint records out of the public eye. And this is specifically in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. But like I've said, I've seen this law proposed over and over again all throughout the entire country. So let's get into it. The Strip District woman will feel a lot more confident about apartment hunting if her tenant history was not marked by 3 recent court complaints filed against her by her current landlord. Honestly, it makes me feel like a criminal, she said. The tenant, whose name is being withheld for privacy reasons, faced a health crisis last year and an ongoing disability that slashed her income, even prompting a GoFundMe plea for help with medical bills and living expenses. Her landlord filed to evict. Now, I'm going to stop right there because I got a kind of a problem with the way they have this worded, right? They're like, oh, well, she experienced a health problem and that is why she didn't pay her rent, and her evil landlord, because that's the implication here, that the landlord was doing something wrong by filing to evict. And I remind people that it is your responsibility to pay your bills regardless of whatever else you have going on in your life, be it health issues, be it a divorce, be it a loss of your employment, right? You signed a contract saying you would pay. And for some reason, people, they get in their heads that, oh, well, I'm going through a hard time, so I shouldn't have to pay my bills. Like, no. I know it's unfortunate. It is very unfortunate, but we all abide by these rules, including me, okay? My bills are due, whether I have a job, whether I am married, whether I go through a health issue or not. And so a responsible person, you know what they would do? They would be like, okay, I lost my job, so I'm going to go find another job so that I can pay my bills. Or, oh, I am going through this health issue, right? Fortunately, I had saved up, 6 months of emergency reserves just in case I go through this kind of health issue. And so I can still pay my bills. Or I have a significant loss of income, so I am going to downsize to a place that I actually can afford rather than sitting here and not paying the landlord the money I owe him because I just can't pay. Okay, these are the things that responsible adults do when they are faced with difficult situations. They don't just sit there and be like, oh, you know what? I'm going through this situation. You need to take a loss for me. That's the way these people act. They act like, hey, you need to bend over backwards, lose a bunch of money because I'm going through all of this. No. You need to pay up or get out. Okay? And I'm not the only person saying this. The car company, like if you have a loan on your car, they will repossess your car if you don't make the payment. They will come and take it away from you. Okay? The credit card companies, they will, they'll send the hounds on you trying to get their money. Okay? They want their money back. Okay? It goes on and on. It goes on and on. And so don't think for 1 second that just because this is a landlord-tenant situation that the same rules don't apply. With temporary rental assistance and short-term work, she cobbled together funds, and 2 2023 complaints filed by her landlord were withdrawn or dismissed. But in January, after her lease ran out, the landlord filed again, saying she still owed more than $4,700 in back rent and that the company wasn't interested in allowing her to pay the balance and stay. The tenant still had rent relief funding available, which she said the landlord would not accept. Landlords can file for eviction if a tenant doesn't pay, stays beyond the lease expiration, or violates any other lease term. And so here's the situation we have here, right? We have a tenant who multiple times wasn't able to pay the rent. The only reason she was able to catch up was because she got rental assistance, right? And then on time number 3, the landlord's like, 3 strikes and you're out, okay? I worked with you before. I worked with these rental assistance programs before. You still owe me $4,700, but we're not going to accept any more rental assistance because you have proven yourself to be a person who is unable to pay. You've got to go. And I agree completely with that perspective. So, I can't have sympathy for this lady. Okay, she just has screwed up too many times. She's proven herself to be a bad tenant. And now she's sitting here and complaining because, yeah, you have 3 eviction filings on your record. You might not have an actual eviction on your record, but you have 3 eviction filings, which is something that other landlords are going to look at and they're going to say, hey, you're a garbage tenant. You're a garbage tenant if you have that many filings on, It doesn't matter if it was the same landlord. It doesn't matter what your personal situation is. You have it on your record. And that is proof positive for a lot of landlords that you are not the kind of person to rent to. I wouldn't rent to you. Why would I? I mean, you've proven that you couldn't pay your last landlord. So how would I know that you'd be able to pay me? yet you don't want that mark on your record. But it is a fact. It is based on facts. It is based on facts. And so I don't have sympathy for you. I don't believe this sort of law should pass that would deny me the right to look you up and screen you, because the fact that you are not credit worthy yet you still want to get housing from me, it's almost like you're trying to scam me. It's like you're trying to, oh yeah, I'll pay, and you ain't got a job, you ain't got no means of paying, and you've screwed previous landlords over. Whatever. Okay, I just don't agree with this nonsense. So let me know what you think of this whole type of situation in the comments down below. Like the stories they use in these articles, they're supposed to garner sympathy, but the only thing they do is they just anger me. It angers me that there was some journalist who actually took this person's side and actually thinks that she somehow is the victim when she is everything coming out of her mouth is I can't pay, I won't pay, I don't pay. Yet the landlord is supposed to just take it up the rear, I guess.